Welcome to Daily Armor. Today we're going to be in the book of Exodus chapter 9. We're going to be looking at verses 1 through 7, but mostly I'm going to be looking at verse number 5. That's my focus. So for the sake of time, I'm going to read verse number 5. And it says, "And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land." The Lord appointed a set time. I've said this many times. It's just, I just can't get this thought out of my head that God tells time when it's time. He can set a time. I don't know about you, but I will make plans and I'll say, this is where I'm going to be and that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to go do this and we're going to do that. And then sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I can make plans and they don't get to come to pass. Something comes up. And when I was younger, it would be very frustrating. But as I learned through the process of time and through, just getting older, you realize that things do come up, that things don't always work out, that timing is something that we have control over. Time seems to have control over me. I live by what my watch says on many days. Many days I have to just really stay focused on my watch. My watch has a setting where I can tap the side of it or, press the side of it and it'll show me what time it is. Or I can set it to where it's always lit. On those days where time is in control of my day, I have to have it always lit because I needed to glance down real quick and check the time. And so time seems to have control over me, but it does not have control over God. As we've been talking about things happening in His time, even when it looks like it's too late, God's saying, no, it's right on time. It's just exactly when it's supposed to happen, when things are supposed to take place and how they're supposed to take place. So He orchestrates my life and your life. And an example of this just happened to me recently. This past weekend, I was supposed to I had a flight headed to Charlotte or Concord, which is right outside of Charlotte, to go Friday, and then I was going to be at my brother's on Saturday, and then I was going to drive my mom back from North Carolina to Florida on Sunday. Well, that didn't take place. That didn't happen. It wasn't going to happen. We were having so much trouble with our water, and we still are. We're still battling our water, but now it's at least flowing, so we have some flow coming in the house. But it was so odd because I was like, but I have to get my mom. I have to go. And then it dawned on me. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like, no, you don't have to go. If the Lord, said this is not the right time, then, we need to postpone things. And so, that morning, that I got up, I don't know if it was Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. We've been having trouble with our well now this is our third week. And so I don't remember if it was Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. My flight was scheduled to leave on Friday. That I woke up and I was like, I have to cancel. And so I made the phone calls that I needed to make, talked to my mom and just explained, Mom, we're having trouble with the well. I'm not able to do laundry. I'm not taking a shower. We have enough water to flush a toilet and that's about it. Now we have enough pressure to take a shower. I'm still not using my dishwasher or my washing machine, because we're just having so much trouble. But the point of the story is that God is in control of my time, of my steps. I experienced peace once I made the call and said, you know what, I need to push this out a few weeks. Let's give me, the well guy said, it's going to take a couple of weeks to try to flush it. And, we just had a collapse. The sand collapsed into our well and we were just having all this sand come through and it just stopped up all of our filters. And, I just explained that we were just having so much trouble and I didn't want her to have to worry about where she was going to take a shower and if she could wash her clothes and things like that. And so, I'm still going to my daughter's house or my son's house to wash clothes. But I didn't want my mom to have to worry with that. But really the point is the moment that I said, Mom, my flight's Friday, but I can't come up. I think we're going to have to push this out. And she was fine with it. She understood. I showed her a picture of my water. Anyway, I felt such relief. I felt just such relief. And why? Because I submitted. I didn't try to make it happen. I didn't try to force it. If I would have tried to force it, if I would have tried to have made something happen, then, you know, I would have been taking on responsibility that I don't have the authority to do. And I submitted to him, and man, did I have such peace after I did it. It was like, okay, we didn't have to rush. We didn't have to make the well get cleaned up. We didn't have to do it. You know, we didn't have to try to force things. We didn't try to, you know, we've not rushed to try to, you know, have the new well put in. We still may have to have one, but we're giving things time. We're giving things time, and it's according to his time. And we may very well have to have a new well. I don't know, but we're not panicking. And a lot of times whenever we're in that source of panic, it's because we're trying to force something to take place. And then when we look in the scripture here, God is the only one that has the authority to do that. And he's got the resources to make it happen, and he knows when it's time. Let's look at verses 1 through 7, and let me let you know what's going on here. We're in Egypt. Moses has been sent of the Lord to tell Pharaoh to let my people go. This is going to happen many times, and Pharaoh is going to have to go through a series of consequences for that. I feel like that I would have faced consequences had I forced my trip to go to North Carolina. Had I forced it, I would have faced some consequences that I would not have wanted to face. And I just submitted to him. And so Pharaoh did not submit. He does not submit to the Lord, and he has to face the consequences. And let's look at what the consequences are. Verse number 1 says, Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, and tell him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, I will hold them still, or wilt hold them still. Behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow, see, he set a time. He's like, this is your time frame. I'll give you this information, and this is your time frame. He tells time when it's time. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died. But of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. He even distinguished between the cattle of Egypt and the cattle of Israel. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. He's like, I'm showing you my power. I am explaining to you this is what you are to do. I'm showing you what kind of authority that the God of Israel has, the God of everything has, and the kind of power that he has, even down to dividing asunder between the Egyptians and the Israelites. And we see here Pharaoh did not submit, and he has to live with the consequences that all of the cattle for his people died because he would not submit and let these Israelites go. He wanted to keep them. He wanted to continue to use them as slaves. And God says, no, you're going to let my people go. And it's going to happen. But through all of this, he gives him opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And he shows him the consequences, tells him, of the consequences. And I don't always know what consequences I'm going to face if I don't submit. But I know that, and I don't know why God didn't allow me to go last week, and I've pushed it off for about 3 weeks, and I don't know if I'm going to make that trip. That'll be up to the Lord. I'm still, I'm hopeful, but I definitely don't say, well, this is where I'm going to be. I say, Lord willing, this is what I plan to do. Now, if the Lord changes it, there's nothing I can do about it. I will be somewhere, and you will be somewhere if the Lord allows it, if the Lord permits it. But if you are feeling that nudge that you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, you need to listen to the Lord, and you need to submit to that. And I needed to submit to that every time. I did it this time. I don't get it all right. I miss it. I mess up. This has taught me to be even more sensitive. When the Lord wants to say no about something, I need to listen to that and submit. I don't know what all it was about. All I know is I submitted to the Lord and I leave all the results up to Him. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again soon.